What's going on, guys? We have a special guest, Cole from How About Those Chiefs? How you doing today?
Great, man. I got the coffee. I'm ready to go. Talk some Chiefs. Thanks so much for having me.
You got that HBTC coffee
I
blend?
do. I got it. I got it in the cup. Let's go.
Okay. Well, first off, tell everybody about yourself and how you became a Chiefs fan.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer that part first. I was born in Kansas City, so my grandparents were Chiefs fans. We're from Kansas City. Been here for a long time. So I grew up basically wearing a Chiefs shirt. Came out of the womb repping the Chiefs, and yeah, watched them lose a lot, and now we're watching them win a lot. And yeah, I run a YouTube channel. How about those Chiefs? Covering Chiefs news, and been doing that for a few years now, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember your channel back when you had a few thousand subs. You were killing it, and you're almost at 300,000 now. What's the secret? Any advice for me, being that you have almost 300,000 subscribers? You have a lot of success on YouTube.
You're rounding way up because I think it's like 230, but I appreciate the roundup. That's electoral roundups since we're in election season. But um, just advice, I always just tell people just keep going, make content, and aim to get 1% better every day. Focus on just making the best content you can in the shortest amount of time for the viewer to serve them. Work on titles, thumbnails, and yeah, just keep growing. I mean, study, and it kind of will ooze out, just out of the brain, just from all the study and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, that's all. Just keep shooting. That's the biggest thing, and be authentic. Be you.
Right. So yesterday, Broncos guard. I need help pronouncing this name. Broncos guard Quinn
My
Meiners
minors. Yeah.
agreed to a 4-year, $80 million deal. How does this change the market for Trey Smith?
Yeah, I don't know that it fully changes it, but it just fully or further validates the fact that if Trey Smith wants pretty good money, he's gonna get it, and it might not be in Kansas City. There's a couple ways that it could happen, but yeah, he'll probably get around that 20-ish million a year mark, and that's good for him. Good for Trey Smith, who was taken in the sixth round, I believe, due to health concerns, and has really worked his way up and has earned himself a payday. Whether it's with the Chiefs, I'm hopeful, or another team, it's going to be well deserved.
Yeah, well, for a 6 round pick, I think he's doing great. Now, whether he comes back to Kansas City or not, I think Veach knows what he's doing there. He drafted some good guards. I'm trying to remember their name. One was from Holy Cross, I think, and
Yeah, C.J. Hansen out of Holy
C.J. Hansen.
Cross.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some good young talent there. Who do you think is going to start at left tackle? You got Kingsley Suamataia and Wanya Morris.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an intriguing battle to watch. Mahomes spoke on it yesterday during his presser and said he's looking forward for the battle. Like, you want to give it your best every day and learn from your mistakes, and then give it your all every single snap. And if I had to put money on it right now, I'd probably say Kingsley Suamataia. Wanya has a year under his belt in the NFL and a year in the system, so he's got that going for him. But I do think they'll give him every opportunity. Talking about Kingsley, to earn the spot, but obviously, if he's not the guy showing up and it's Wanya could very well be in the running for the left tackle spot. Right now, it's a coin flip until which training camp is starting now, basically. So once the pads come on and we see them working, then we'll really be able to see, okay, Kingsley's working more with the ones. Meanwhile, Wanya's with the twos. That's a good sign for Kingsley. So yeah, I'm intrigued, but I would say Kingsley as my way too early prediction.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think Kingsley Suamataia. Yeah, I really want him to start too. I think he's even cousins with Lions right tackle Panay Sewell, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
they're
Penei Sewell,
related.
yeah,
So
he's got a bunch of family members in the NFL. It's crazy.
it runs in the blood. Success runs in the blood. Nothing against Wanya though. I think he has potential to be good. I just the struggles I saw from him from last season. He had a few struggles here and there. And this is Mahomes, blind side. We got to make sure that's protected. And I think right now Kingsley would be the better pick. But either way, I think Mahomes can be in good hands.
Yeah, and if Wanye is just a dependable swing tackle, like, that's great. You got to think, like, Lucas Niang is on the last year of his deal. They no longer have Prince Tega Wanogho. He was a swing tackle for them. So there's nothing wrong with some valuable swing tackle depth in case, God forbid, Kingsley, if he earns the spot, or Jawan on the other side, gets injured. And then they drafted Hunter Norzad. He's played a bunch along the interior, and I think even right tackle as well. So he could be a guy that could step in if needs be also.
Right. Do you think Rashid Rice's suspension will come next season, being that the law hasn't came up with their own punishment yet?
Great question, man. I'm leaning towards the like 5 weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, he's getting suspended at the beginning of the season. But now, like, my confidence is not as high that it'll be this year, and that's probably a good thing if you're the Chiefs trying to chase a three-peat. Now Rice does need to pay for the consequences of his actions. It's not like he was intentionally trying to hurt anybody, but when you're going that fast and you wreck and cause injuries, like, yeah, you've got to answer for that. But right now, I don't know. But the longer that the process takes, in the legal process, the more likely the suspension for Rice could potentially come next year. Kind of like the Alvin Kamara situation, that nightclub incident. That was like right around the Pro Bowl. So you're talking the end of a season. He didn't get suspended that next season, but the season after. He started the season suspended. So that's an example, I guess, where Rice may find himself suspended next year rather than this year. But we kind of got to let the process play out a little bit here and see what happens as we get closer to the season.
Yeah, I had a show with a Bills fan yesterday, and we brought up Rashid Rice and talked about his possible suspension being this year, next year. And I agree with you. A couple weeks ago, I would have thought it's going to be a five game suspension start of the season, but we're getting closer and closer to the start of the season. We still have no information about the Rashid Rice situation. So, and I think if I'm Kansas City, I think I want to keep him to trace this three-peat, get that three-peat done, and then have him do his suspension next season.
It would definitely help the wide receiver room to have Rice from the jump this year for sure.
Yeah. What does a typical day for you look like?
Typical day, not that exciting. I wake up and get the girls ready for the day. So I got two daughters, an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. Recently, it's been physical therapy in the morning. I had knee surgery a couple weeks ago, but after that, about 9 a.m., 9:30, I come down here, talk with the editor, kind of get a game plan for the day. We'll script some YouTube shorts. We'll just kind of see what news is dropping for the day and start scripting for a long form video. And that's really it. Like, I just kind of watch the news throughout the day, script, send the recordings over to the editor. He edits while I script some more, and then try to drop a video by like 6:30 and go have dinner with the fam and then spend time with them.
Nice. Brandon Ayuk has officially requested a trade. I know yesterday in your live stream you said it was unlikely, but what would you give up for Ayuk if probably not a first round pick, but what would you be willing to give up?
Yeah, my strong suit is definitely not draft capital stuff, but I mean, if the Chiefs wanted to give up a first round pick and maybe a future later round pick in exchange, that would be fantastic. I would assume the 49ers want as much as humanly possible. And again, the Chiefs are so good that every single year they're picking at the end of these rounds. So those, like, a first round pick is not as valuable that the Chiefs have compared to somebody like the Panthers. But yeah, somebody said this yesterday on Twitter. They're like, hey, I think a first round pick is worth the unknown of a first round pick. Let's say you draft a wide receiver at the end of round one. The unknown of that outweigh, like, the cost that you would be getting Ayuk for. You would know what you get in him as like a wide receiver, solid wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. Where a draft pick is unknown. They could hit, they could not. The caveat to that is you also got to pay him. So would the Chiefs also be paying him $25+ million a year? That's the question. The 49ers then came out and said, we're not trading him, basically. Because you can request a trade, but the team holds all the cards. They could say, well, too bad. So if he's traded, I have a feeling it's not to the Chiefs. It would go to some team with a lot more cap space. But hey, it would be fun. I would enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean it'd be fun, yeah, but I doubt the 49ers are gonna give them to the Chiefs, the team that knocked them out the Super Bowl 2 times. And then if he did somehow end up here, Brandon Ayuk, Rashid Rice, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelsey, a great old line, Patrick Mahomes. I just don't know what will happen there. That the league's in trouble.
It would be insane. Yes, sir.
What's something Chiefs Kingdom doesn't know about you?
Ooh, doesn't know about me? I mean, not a lot of people know. I used to make hip hop music, so that's kind of where I learned to do photography and videography. Made hip hop music for quite a while. Before that, I trained in Taekwondo for about 12 years and did a couple years of competitive cheer, like level 5 all-star cheer. So I was running around flipping, tumbling, throwing people up in the air, catching them. And there's a few things that some people may not know.
What made you want to start doing Chiefs YouTube?
I've always been fascinated with YouTube in general. That's where I learned like so much of, I mean, pretty much anything. That's how I learn. I learn audio visually. I'm not a big reader, so I would rather go watch a YouTube tutorial than read an instruction manual or whatever. So when I started learning how to edit videos, edit photos, like cinematography, all this stuff for the video, because I used to be a freelance videographer before YouTube, like all that stuff, I would just go learn it on YouTube and then go apply it. And so I've always been fascinated with the space. Even before the Chiefs channel, I was streaming Call of Duty like on Twitch and putting clips out on a small channel. And I was just always fascinated with being able to do content creation for a living. Never knew that I would actually be able to. But yeah, I had it narrowed down between doing a YouTube channel covering video game news or Chiefs news. And my wife was basically like, look, video games are cool. You like to play them, but you've been a lifelong Chiefs fan. Do that. And I was like, all right. So my wife is partially to thank for the YouTube channel. And yeah, very, very grateful that made the decision.
Yeah. Well, for me, about 5 years ago, I would say I had a couple YouTube channels. Um, trying to it was more so NFL, not really a Chiefs channel. It was just an NFL reporting channel. But I came out with it, and it really didn't go really well. I had lost my passwords and all that stuff, so
Oh
I
no.
was done. I was done. But then the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the Eagles, Super 57, and after that, I believe a couple days later, I started this channel and made sure I had everything, every password written down, and it's all going good. Great so far.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you just got to keep going. How old are you?
15 next month.
Nice. Yeah, heck yeah. I wish I would have started YouTube when I was younger. So you started at a good age and just keep going.
What are you expecting to see from the UDFAs when training camp starts Sunday, like Carson Steele, a guy that could sneak his way on the roster and be Andy Reid's fullback?
Yeah, that would be fun. Carson Steele. Um, they're kind of using him right now, or at least they have been as like a running back, fullback hybrid. He would be an intriguing guy that could be RB3, RB4. You've got to be able to find your, when you're on the bottom of the room, so the running back room, 3, 4. You got to contribute on special teams, which I think he could do. But he's only like 8 pounds or so lighter than I believe Mike Burton was. So that was the Chiefs' previous fullback. So he was only like 8 pounds lighter than Mike Burton, but I would say he's more athletic. He's got greater burst. You could use him as a dual threat back even if you need to. Sneak him in there as a fullback for some blocking stuff. He's definitely an intriguing guy to watch because he could crack the 53 as like that depth piece. Where I just don't know is, are they going to trust him after Pacheco and CEH enough in like pass protection and stuff if one of those guys got hurt? So that's where I'm like, well, what about like Amani Bailey? He's a guy to watch for. You've also got Keontae Ingram on there, who's got a little bit of NFL experience under his belt. Other UDFAs, I mean, LRZ, Louis Rees-Zammit, he's not technically a UDFA because he's an international guy. I don't think they would classify him as UDFA. I could be wrong there, but he'll be intriguing to watch, the Welshman. See if he can contribute enough on special teams to earn a spot plus a niche role on offense. Like, it would have to be a super niche role. Other UDFAs, you've got Curtis Jacobs, a linebacker, very high athletic ceiling. Yeah, he went undrafted, but like, he's a guy that has a legitimate shot in the linebacker room. Miles Battle is an intriguing cornerback. I mean, it's a very competitive room, so I don't know what that's going to look like for him. But you've got You've got Nazi Johnson climbing, coming back from the injury, but you also have Jalen Watson right now. He's dealing with that shoulder recovery. He's rehabbing from shoulder surgery, so he'll be out right now. And then you obviously have no L'Jarius Sneed. So it'll be intriguing to see the cornerback room with a couple guys like Sneed out in Tennessee, and then Jalen Watson nursing that injury to see who kind of steps up.
Yeah, I told Nazi Johnson a couple months ago when I had him on. I told him, please pick off Joe Burrow. He said he got me. And then I had I had
Let's
his
go.
mom on about a month ago, and she just
Nice.
said he's ready to rock and roll. He's more excited than ever. I think he has a great chance to make a starting spot on this corner room.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride, one of his hot takes a few weeks ago was that Nazi Johnson actually earns a starting spot opposite Trent McDuffie. So you've got even beat reporters on the Chiefs kind of saying, "Hey, watch out for Nazi," and I'm a big fan. So he's the only Chiefs player I've had on the channel. He's awesome. Appreciate him.
He's a great guy. Yesterday, Patrick Mahomes stated that they want to have more fun this season, meaning playing better than last season. What do the Chiefs need to do offensively and defensively to do better? Even though their defense was good.
Yeah, so the defense was insane. Defensively, I don't even. I'm like, you could probably go pull up some stats. They could probably do a little bit better in the red zone, a little bit better on third downs or something. Turnovers would be one that I think the defense could work on. Spags would admit to that personally. Like, we don't always have the most turnovers, even though they had some crucial ones, like the L'Jarius Sneed punch out on Zay Flowers. Like, you want to talk about a turnover when it matters, like that mattered. Um, so defensively, like I feel like they're pretty good. Most of the defense is returning there, minus basically Snead and Willie Gay. Offensively, that's where we all know it's like, okay, you're middle of the pack in points per game. They dipped in the red zone. They were like the second highest scoring red zone team 2 years ago and dipped closer to the middle of the pack as well. So definitely better in the red zone. And then they led the league in drops. You got to clean up the drops, get on the same page with Mahomes, and hopefully the retooled wide receiver room will help contribute there. I mean, outside of that, if you can just clean up the drops, be a little bit more effective in the red zone and moving the chains, like I mean, it's going to be great because you've still got Pacheco. You've got the great interior O line. Yeah, Jawan Taylor needs to clean up some penalties, but if you can just clean it up a little bit, I feel really good about once you have you got Andy Reid, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Kelsey. Like clean up the drops, the little mistakes, and it's going to be rocking. I think.
I really hope Kadarius Toney can figure out how to stay healthy because the guy has so much potential. He just needs to stay healthy. I mean, this is a guy we were talking a couple years ago. He was our wide receiver one, and now we're talking about he might not even make the 53-man roster. He just needs to stay healthy, not drop the ball, get on the same page with Mahomes, as you said, and that guy can be a wide receiver two, wide receiver one. He has potential to be that. You know, he's probably not going to be that now. You got Rashid Rice and Marquise Brown here, but he can have a very big role in this offense if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he'll be an intriguing guy to watch at camp because if he underperforms, he actually might be in danger of not making the roster. He could be potentially traded. I don't know what team is going to give up much, but the Chiefs might be tempted to take anything if they're like, yeah, he's not going to make the cut, and we could off offload his $2.5 million salary. But you're right, when healthy and just locked in, I mean, Tony's very dangerous. I think a great way for him to really earn his stripes on the team this year is as a returner. He's probably the most dangerous punt returner by far on the team. And then you've got the new kickoff rules. It would be intriguing to see what he could do back there as well. But yeah, I mean, he's got promise. He was a first round pick for a reason. He's got a very high athletic ceiling. But even last year, he said he wasn't injured, right? In the playoffs. So they took him off the injury report and he was still a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. So there's probably a little bit of behind the scenes stuff there. But hey, if Tony comes in, he's like, I'm on a contract year. I'm going to grind. I'm going to work hard. And then obviously he stays healthy. Like he has a legitimate shot of making the 53-man roster. The question is, how's he going to look at camp and preseason, and will he stay healthy and beat out a pretty competitive wide receiver room right now? There's a lot of guys in there.
Yeah. Well, Kadarius Toney in the backfield returning the kicks and stuff. That would be fun because we've seen
Oh yeah.
glimpses. We've seen him do that before, and he is dangerous. So if he can just stay healthy, he can help this team tremendously reach that three-peat.
I agree, man.
Give me your unbiased. This might be hard, but give me your unbiased Super Bowl champion or
For
matchup
this
then
year?
champion. Yeah.
All right. Well, the biased take is that the Chiefs go up against the Lions. It's not even really that biased, to be honest. They're probably, I haven't checked like the betting odds right now, but they've got to be Super Bowl favorites, if not one of the top two teams to make it back to the Super Bowl. You've got a very interesting AFC West right now. Like, I don't think the Broncos, the Raiders, or the Chargers are really set up for success this year. I think they're making moves to be more successful and more competitive in future years. So if the Chiefs win the West, I mean, there's your playoff spot, you know. But if it's not the Chiefs, some of the other teams you could maybe see in there from the AFC, Bengals, I hate to say that, but Bengals, if you've got a healthy Burrow, Ravens, Texans, Bills, even, I know they could take a step back, but you've got Josh Allen, and the Chiefs have been his kryptonite in the postseason. But I'm just saying, like, if there's another team representing the AFC and it's not the Chiefs, could be one of those teams. If it's not the Chiefs, I would really like to see the Lions win the Super Bowl this year. They've never been, and I think they've got a great roster and a legitimate chance to make it.
Yeah. Well, my matchup last year was Chiefs and Lions, and I'm doing it the
Okay.
same this year. I think it's Chiefs and Lions, and I think the Chiefs get it done with this three-peat because I just think they're more motivated even than last year. They're really trying to chase this. Is there any team that scares you this season?
Um, I mean, it's probably several that I mentioned. It's not necessarily a scare. It's just more like they're really tough fights. So the first 2 weeks are tough. It's Ravens opener and then Bengals right after a mini bye, and then you've got the Texans. That's going to be an interesting one. We'll see how Stroud bounces, responds to a year two with a year of tape and game film on him. We'll see how that looks. He's got Diggs. They've got a good roster there. You then have the Bills. I mean, that's always a tough fight, and they've gotten the better of the Chiefs quite a bit in the regular season. So yeah, it's not really like I'm scared, just because I think if anybody's scared of any team in the NFL, it's got to be other teams scared of the Chiefs. I mean, you have the Grim Reaper. You've got the best head coach in the game right now, the best tight end in the game. Um, yeah, I think it's the Chiefs are to be feared until dethroned. And so I don't fear any team, but I do have a healthy respect for quite a few of the teams I just mentioned.
I've had a lot of people on the show over the past year and a half, and I've told everybody that I'm not scared of any team until they can prove to take down the Chiefs when it matters. And the
Facts.
Bengals did that, but
Mm-hmm.
they only did it once when it matters. So the Bengals really still do not scare me. They need to do it consistently to scare me. And until a team can prove that, there's no reason to be scared of another team. I will say though, the Texans I am watching because I think they could be something like the Joe Burrow AFC Championship incident that happened. The Bengals went 10-7 and snatched the AFC Championship away from the Chiefs. I think the Texans could be that team to do that again, if not this year, possibly next year. Uh, they're a young team and they got potential to knock down the Chiefs. We didn't think the Bengals would do it, but they did.
Yeah, Mahomes had the worst half of football he's ever played, second half of the AFC Championship game, and then the play before halftime in that game. I was there in the stands. That's when they threw it to Tyreek inbounds. They had no timeouts at the goal line and lost points off the board there that way too. But yeah, much respect to the Bengals. I mean, that's why I said they're legit. If Burrow stays healthy is like the biggest thing to me. Every time they play each other, it's a 3-point game. It was a 3-point game in the last AFC Championship between the two teams, down to the wire. Yeah, the Bengals, I think they'll still be a legitimate threat as long as Burrow's health holds up. And then yeah, the Texans, just what you said, man. Hey, I'm here by myself. Just want to say, subscribe. Subscribe to Arrowhead News and Rumors. Listen, Bryce is legit. Sub to his channel. How about those Chiefs? And Arrowhead News and Rumors report taking over. Let's go. Bryce needs a few minutes. So, I'm just going to break something down. Let's see, what should I break down? I'm going to break down. I'm just going to break down some position groups here. The quarterback room is a lock. It's definitely Carson Wentz. For the running back room, CEH will probably overtake Pacheco. I mean, Pacheco's just too slow, not powerful enough, does not run angry enough. Wide receiver room, definitely going to go for Cornell Powell. I think he is going to forego the practice squad this year. He'll be wide receiver one. For the tight end room, they are bringing back Blake Bell. He will be the number one tight end this year. Kelsey might find himself on the bench because of it. Those are a few interesting position battles to watch for on the offensive side of the ball. For the defense, Chris Jones, he's washed. He's old, hit 30 years old. They paid him a bunch of money, but he is going to be passed up easily by anybody else on the defensive line. For the linebacker room, I don't know who's going to have the top spot there, but it could be maybe Nick Bolton will continue calling the shots. But if not, maybe you bring in somebody like Bobby Boucher from the Waterboy. Like, he could be a good one. He'd be a solid linebacker in the Chiefs' defensive scheme. Who else? For the cornerback room, they're going to get Eli Apple. He's still a free agent. We like Eli Apple here in Kansas City. He never talks trash, and he's very good. One of the best cornerbacks available in the entire NFL. I mean, yeah, he's so good, man. Big Eli Apple fan. Yeah, that's it. Harrison Butker, though, he gone. We're gonna go get a different kicker. Yeah, those are not even hot takes. That's just what's gonna happen. It's realistic.
All right, Chiefs Kingdom, that is going to conclude today's interview. Unfortunately, it was cut a little short due to the internet going out. Cole, if you're watching this, thanks for making the time to join the show. With that being said, go Chiefs!